trying to sell the idea of freedom and democracy to the rest of the world. How can we succeed if we're afraid of it ourselves? I had an opportunity to see what happened in those countries where freedom was destroyed. The first step was always the same. They began by putting a blanket over education and by making it a crime for people to think. That's what the film's about. Actual newsreel shots of some of the dreadful things that have happened in our time. How they burned the books and sent the scholars into slave labor camps. How they hanged the teachers by their feet in the public squares because they dared to teach the truth. Do you think I want to see that happen in this country?
I'm not questioning it at all. It's just that these are touchy times, so Claude feels we ought to have a look at it.
How did you like the movie, Mr.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth, John Crawford edition. Yes, indeed. We, well, let me get rid of the particulars first, and then we'll go ahead and talk about that little clip from Vintage Hollywood. Definitely want to remind you guys to like, and share. Welcome you into this evening again. We do appreciate you taking your time out on every Tuesday evening to be with us, liking and sharing the show. Wanting you to help us grow. Like and share the show so we can grow. That's our motto. We're going to t-shirt with that. Like and share the show so we can grow. We have our financial contribution platforms out there for you as well. Our Cash App and our Venmo. We'll have that up on the screen periodically this evening for you to pay attention to as well. Or you can always send an email with your donation in different ways. You'll be able to do that through Zelle. By sending an email to ttbttshow@gmail and with your questions and additional comments. We will accept those there and review them and get back to you that following show about any question that you will necessarily have coming at us from your perspective. All right. We will be kicking off the opportunity for a month co-host of your choosing. What we're going to do is that you're going to just kind of have to send a little tape in and we will review it. And from that particular review, we'll invite you to be a co-host with us for a whole month on the show. Right?
To be or not to be?
To be.
That is the
co-host
question.
of the show.
Oh, I was auditioning, my bad.
Oh, okay. I got you. And good evening to you, sir. How are you all the way from the Atlanta of Atlanta?
Well, I am doing very well. I think that at this time and point, if we haven't lost our mind, it'll be so.
Oh God! See, wait a minute. You say you don't preach, but you just preach the word there.
Amen.
There you go. You got a big amen coming from that one. All right, well, that's good. It's good to see you as always, brother. Definitely your time and sacrifice for making the truth behind the truth be what it is. At this point. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm like Charles. As long as we don't lose our minds,
woo, Lord. Better. See, both of y'all preaching tonight.
Well, the government about to shut down.
Yeah, it is.
With my food stamps.
No, what's so sad though about this situation is the fact that the Republicans, they hold the House and the Senate, and they have everything going, but they're waiting on the Democrats to do something. And the saddest thing about this situation is that they hold the cards. Why are you waiting on the Democrats? It doesn't make sense.
But you started that off well.
I'm so sorry, but they've been doing this for a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's my point.
But hey, what do we know?
When you start off, you said they were holding them. No, they were holding them a hostage. Hostages don't have any say-so in negotiations. Trump doesn't want to talk to the Democratic Party. He don't want to be a part of it. Anything that goes back and forth. And these knuckleheads are like, okay. I don't get it.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, and we played a little clip from, what was it? Who last week? I don't have the clip anymore, but anyway, of just his defensive points about how things are going on in their chambers, and Hakeem got out there and threw a little muscle on the Capitol steps the other day.
He threw a muscle.
He
threw a word.
He caught a cramp.
he threw a muscle out there.
Good.
Yeah, he threw a muscle out there. He told the president, "Look, if you got anything to say, you better say it to my face."
Please.
It's
done. It's been said.
Okay.
It's been said. You know what? To be honest with you, it's just so. I'm not trying to throw off on the Democrats, please, y'all. I understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
I do, but sometimes it's a little frustrating to watch because you got the muscle to do whatever that needs to be done. Y'all are then sitting on great messaging that's been going out. Let me make an example of this. When you have a party that calls you socialist, communist, Marxist, and all of this, and too progressive, and all this other stuff, and they're against Antifa, and Antifa is short for anti-fascist. Why is the messaging? What's missing with the Democrats is the fact that they cannot get with the messaging to the point that you cannot make up commercials or make a campaign against telling the American people that this is what y'all want with the Republicans to be fat. You want a fascist party when they're calling us communists and socialists, but they are the ones that are saying that they are against anything that is fascist. No. We're against a group that is anti-fascist. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? I don't know what the Democrats are going to need to wake up to the fact that you need to call a spade. At the end of the day, you need to call it what it is. But at the end of hey, I wish I was their PR strategy. I wish I was their strategist, basically, because they have missed out on great opportunities to get their point across. And the saddest thing about Jeffries and Schumer is that they don't know how to get their point across in this new climate, in this new thing called politics. Because right now you have a situation where you can't be diplomatic and you can't be pragmatic to what is going on. You got to be all in, all ass in, all ass out. And I hate to say it, but Jeffries, you say he's doing what he has to do, but that's just not enough. It's not enough to get the point across to the American people, and I'm just gonna leave it there.
Well, I mean, you unpacked a lot.
I know I did, because it's frustrating to watch.
Yeah, no, you did.
Come on now,
no.
When you got Trump, he put a picture on Truth Social of Jeffries and an umbrella and a Hispanic mustache, making him out to be the illegal, and got Schumer looking the way he looks.
Right.
What does that tell you? All gloves are off.
Well, he tells you that you have a clown for president, number one.
He's a clown.
Right. At the end of the day. So, I mean, Hakeem should have put a clown face right back on him. But then again, somebody was been saying that now the Democrats are playing tick-tack.
Might as well.
At this point, with everything. And, when, I understand. I understand the idea what they want. They want to be the big boy in the room while the other one is being, being in. And it's also like this thing that I said a long time ago. I put this on Facebook years ago, was about kick the bully out of your sandbox and don't let him throw sand in your face. You know what I mean? So is it that you're going to allow him to continue to throw sand in your face, or are you going to kick him out of the sandbox? So that's the question. And are they going to allow him to be the bully in the sandbox? They're going to, maybe they're strategizing something. Maybe, I mean, we don't know all of it, but I do agree with you that things should be more represented on the camera side. They should be using more social media platforms to indicate that we're in this battle for the American people, and it doesn't appear like they're in the battle for the American people.
We are these divided states.
We're
not the United States. We are divided now, and there's no way of coming back from this, because at the end of the day, the people who are making the noise, making their argument the loudest, are the ones that are dividing these United States. Well, and it's like, at the end of the day, what can you do to push back if you're just sitting there trying to be pragmatic and diplomatic about a situation that is not pragmatic and and you see it, you feel it, you feel what's going on now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you can't. I mean, you're a human being.
Truth behind the truth. You're feeling what is happening in front of our face, and the gaslighting and all that stuff. It's atrocious. But
on a day-to-day basis, and we work with people, and I know Charles works with people as well that are clueless. you know, and there's such a vast majority of people in this country are clueless.
Oh.
And we think that a lot of times is that they're politically savvy, religiously savvy, life savvy, that, you know, typically not tooting our own horn, but I can, okay, because we've been 6 years talking. So evidently we
talking about
evidently we know a little bit of something, okay, whether y'all want to support it or not, but anyway, that's another story. So, you know, but then you go into life, you know, on a day-to-day basis, and you step by, and people are so clueless. You know
what?
You know how do I know you got a point, Justin? How do we, you know, revise these people that are clueless? Because I'm telling you, I deal with clueless people every day, and you ask them just even what's going on about the government shutdown. Most people don't even understand about the government shutdown. You know, they don't understand the principle of that. They and it's like, what do the hell y'all do? I mean, at the end of the day, do you not pay attention to anything? But I'm gonna leave my point there. Go ahead, Charles. Then we got to get into John Crawford.
Okay. Well, I want to share something with you.
Yeah.
And I think this is appropriate at this time.
Oh, you got a clip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
No, we got you twice.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
School days.
School days.
School days.
Yeah. Good point, Charles. Thank you.
Hey, bro. Perfect timing.
Yes, it is.
Well, I mean, Charles, did you see the speech that Hegseth and Trump gave to the military today?
Oh my God!
I know that had to, you know.
Okay, so let me just say this: I served my country proudly. I believed in what I was doing, even though I knew there was other stuff going on. But I think that as a so-called superpower, our presence in the world has to be an example how we want others to be and how they should fashion their countries. But we become the damn the redhead stepchild.
Right.
I don't get
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, well, because you have a fascist individual that's in control at this point, and what I'm seeing through all of this is that Donald Trump wants to represent every supreme leader or so-called supreme leader around the world. And then he wants to put himself as being the supreme leader over a period of time, so that Putin comes to him. What's the name in Israel comes to him, and King James Boom Boom and King Boom Boom comes to him. And
I think he want to be Kim Jong-un.
Well, let me finish my point. So what I mean by this is that because out of all of these things and the things that he's doing in each city, you know, he's trying to make the U.S. a fascist or a police state, a police state. You know, so that the way that they govern, he wants to govern exactly in the U.S. and he is getting close to doing that. So therefore, you take all of your top military people and you put them in one room and you disqualify everybody in there because nothing that they said about it was qualifying them. So you make them feel small, then they feel smaller, that they can't challenge you on anything because you take their rank from them if they do. You threaten to fire them if they do. So what do? This is the same thing that Putin does with his people. This is the same China does with their people. I mean, but I'm just saying this is a communist country. But hey, welcome to the opening of the communist USA. The thing that they have fought about for hundreds of years, not being communist, we are going in that direction and very, very fast. If y'all don't get his ass out of office, I'm gonna tell you. But go ahead.
This man, how can you stand there in front of military people after you have draft dodged? You have all of these felonies.
Yeah.
Hegseth ain't never completed none of whatever he had started within his military situation. How can you have the gumption or the license to tell people who are doing what they are doing, they are actually doing the work? Right. You never did the work. You have been most of your life a private citizen owning businesses. Right. And not only that, but causing all types of mischief and all types of crazy. How can you have the what gives you the license to stand and tell somebody, well, you know what, y'all need to do this, and or it's gonna be an FAFO moment, and stand there and look all tight, so like, oh, I did something. It just makes you like all this gaslighting. It's too much gaslighting on the right.
Yeah.
Because it's like for them to say for us to unite, we got to get rid of this leftist propaganda. But did I live in another United States? I remember as far back as Clinton, Gingrich. I remember all of this going on with even as far as Obama. It has, but it has never had this big of a platform. It gave it when Obama was president. It got an uptick.
Right.
You had them showing up out of nowhere with the Tea Party and the birther movement and all of this stuff.
Right.
Now
but you didn't have a narcissist clown in the office at the same time. Except
the rhetoric on their side has always been pungent to the point that you understood where they drew the line.
Right.
Now it's all of a sudden we got to get rid of this leftist agenda that is separating and dividing our country. And I'm looking at the Democrats like, what? Y'all have all of this evidence, and you're telling me that you cannot advertise what they've been doing for the past few decades. You're telling me y'all don't have the evidence to make a commercial out of this, to campaign on who has been really dividing this. You are letting these people gaslight us into believing this lie. It's bad enough they're telling us that Charlie Kirk was Jesus Christ.
Oh God,
and that's my problem with this whole entire spiel, is that they have so capitulated to this gaslighting that you see it on CNN. I'm so tired of seeing political pundits and I'm gonna give you an example with Scott Jennings and Abby Phillips. This situation where he's going to sit up there and tell Abby, well, it's never been us. Well, Abby, well, you know, it is on both sides. Y'all know what? I'm like, are you serious, honey? Like, I'm just saying, where did you miss the moment in educating this fool? Like, wait a minute, you ain't going to play no fool out of me. I know I might work for CNN, but I got the proof right here. I'm just saying. And hey, Charles, you can take that up.
You just dropped that off to me. Hey, like I said, man.
No, it is.
It is. The contradiction and the lack of effort is what's killing me, at least. A lot of times we look at what's going on in government, and there is a policy and a format to follow. But the problem is the Democrats are trying too hard. So they're trying too hard to stay in the rule book. When the Republicans clearly tell you, we don't care about no damn rule book. We're going to change the rules and we're going to make it work for us. But the only thing is, and I tell people this all the time, the salvation is they won't be in office all the time. And you know what's going to happen when that wave come in? If people do the right thing, instead of like them knucklehead bigots in the Democratic Party when Obama came in, they wouldn't let him do what he need to do because you don't want a black man to be better than everybody else. You gotta, toe the line, like they tell Kamala and Jasmine Crockett. Put the people with the fire and the power behind them and let them do what they do. Stop trying to keep their civil. This is not civilized.
Right.
And they're not using regular tactics. They're going around the law, putting people in places that help them project or uplift what they're doing. So I'm just a little lost on why we keep running behind our king.
Right. I just, and you both have said a lot there. I mean, we could really dig into that a little, very, very deep. Even for me, I just don't understand how we have allowed ourselves to get it. But there is. I wish I should have downloaded this clip, but this guy was explaining. I heard it this week about how the Republican nature has baited America up to this particular point in time to have this kind of regime happening. They wanted this for at least a good 60, 70 years.
Since Nixon,
but even before Nixon. They were talking about this the other day, and I was like, wow. I knew about it, but then when you get hit with the reality of it and you see it going on. So as I said earlier, so why is it that the American people don't see this. I just don't understand it. Let me play this for this young lady real quick. This is a really
The speech is only free for thee, not for me. Their speech seems to be free. They can say whatever they want, no punishments. They can talk about euthanizing houseless people. They can talk about doing anything. But, you know, if we say what we want, what we demand, like black women having jobs again, like our young people being taught their history, like the fact that we are dignified human beings who deserve to be treated as such, everybody seems to have a problem with it. That's what I think of free speech.
So what do we do in this moment?
What we do in this moment is we refuse to cooperate with what's happening. We have to ensure that we do not obey. We cannot obey preemptively. We can't obey reactively. We have to make sure that we get in the way constantly. We march, we protest, we call, we refuse to sign things. We make sure that we keep speaking freely. We make sure that we do not comply, because the only way to get through this is if all of us decide collectively and massively that we do not comply.
You feel like the media companies are complying?
Oh yeah, plenty of the media. Now I could ask you the same question, though.
I want to know. You know how I feel. Yes, I do. So then, how do you feel about this consolidation of conservative media conglomerates in this moment?
This is one of the essential pillars of authoritarianism. Then when you conglomerate and consolidate media, when you consolidate faith structures, when you consolidate education and erase all of the things that make you uncomfortable and don't train the populace to act as the way that you want them, when you consolidate all of those powers, you build up pillars of authoritarianism because people don't question what's happening. They just get in line. And the way that we get over this is by refusing to get in line.
She said what I've been thinking and articulating in word salads. But one thing she did miss was you need to get the young people out to vote. You need voting registration tables everywhere you go. I saw a clip with everything that's been Republican and MAGA and Turning Point and all this stuff. They got voter registration tables. Even at Charlie Kirk's funeral, whatever you want to call it, Klan meeting, they had voter registration tables there. You need to motivate and get people to understand that this stuff won't change unless you have the body count of votes that's going to help it to change. You cannot comply. You can march and protest all up and down the street all you want to. But you know what? I hate to say this. It didn't take us to feel protected until we got our right to vote. I don't understand why people think this voting thing is just, it's just a fly-by-night situation. We need to vote.
It's freedom of choice.
Right.
Oh, well,
right.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's a freedom of choice now that that this president is doing what he's doing. And that's why I don't feel, I'm so sorry for cutting you off. This is why I'm laughing. Dude, the pain and frustration, I'm laughing, Charles, because this stuff, it really didn't have to go there.
I'm in no ways tired.
It didn't have to go. I'm laughing at the fact that it's going there. It's going there, and people are still walking around like, oblivious to what is really happening. How can the troops be in Chicago? Why are they patrolling us? Why? Oh my God, they're throwing free press out of the elevators. The ICE people they're taking away the kids. And I'm saying to myself, where were you doing the campaign speeches?
You know what the crazy part of that is? If you look at it based on how this country was formatted, when the British were taxing them and telling them what to do, they stood their ass up, got their rifles, and was like, you know what? We're not dealing with this. And they fought. Now everybody go, yo, man, I just stay out of that. That's them. That's politics. I never deal with politics.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's okay.
Right.
That's all right.
I mean, it's very, very sad that we have really taken on that that lack of non-responsibility. Charles, I guess it really is. And again, to this sad comment, it goes to the fact that after you and I graduated from high school, it was over.
Well, I didn't graduate, but I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Literally. I mean, I know that was
Yeah.
ancient time, you know, but to some people, you know, that was ancient time, you know. But the realization of that, it's just like any opportunity to be motivated to improve your country, improve yourself, improve your community, it was gone.
Yeah, I can believe it.
But
You
think
know, it
about the
was gone.
60s, the early 60s.
Uh-huh.
I'm a child of Urban League and Urban Renewal and all that
Right.
other stuff.
Uh-huh.
My mom took full advantage of it. We didn't have a lot of money, but I was in summer camps for geometry. I did a couple of English classes.
Yep.
I did mathematics. My mom always had me in something, and it was a lot of after-school programs. So I grew up in them, and then I ended up being one of those counselors. You know, when the kids come in, you help them with their homework, they get a snack, they run around for a while, their parents are at work. That's when America was trying to be great, because we were taking care of the family unit, and we were providing resources to help them flourish, or at least get past the day.
Right.
Now, you think if I give him money on my taxes, he's sitting around at home smoking weed and playing video games. Not everybody's doing that.
So let me throw this a question out here. Do you think that we've gotten to the point that we have allowed so much because of people's likability that we've become very passive in what we do? You know what I mean, being very passive and not really taking a stand like we did. Well, you know, I can go there with our I'll call it urban undevelopment, meaning that our mindsets are not toward that success anymore. It's again, I know certain sectors of it, but we give passive, we give passes for certain communities because they don't want to do it. Let's take the Cardi B community, okay?
Oh Lord, you lost me. No, don't take them because that's done. They're done. They're cooked.
Well, but let me wait. Hold on.
They are cooked. You talking about a demographic of people,
but there's a representation of that demographic that we deal with.
Anything.
I know, but these are the same people that we were talking about. This is the same person that one that Joan Crawford talked about. You know, in the beginning of the clip. That's, I mean, you know, what we kind of, you know, emulate how art imitates life. You know, this is, I mean, in that clip, that's what she's talking about. You know, I mean, at the end of the end. So if we can, and to answer your point, Charles, earlier, I think is how I'm kind of tying this back in, is that if those are the individuals that are speaking to that generation, you know, twerking and, you know, and all the obscurities and everything else that I typically don't, I can't speak for everybody else, but I don't particularly. So where can we motivate that group, okay, to start speaking the urban life renewal things that we need to see in this country? What can we do to do that? Well, now, I mean, here, Truth Behind Truth, I mean, we've come up with solutions. Maybe you as our audience, okay, sending suggestions. What can we do? What movement can be started to get those people, you know, to start getting these young people to get involved? To your point, Charles, get him out and vote. But, you know, maybe we need to have Megan Thee Stallion spreading her cheeks wide open on something on the billboard and say, go vote between.
Well, you know,
I'm just saying.
It's not a bad idea. But on another level, you got to remember, kids are a representation of their environment. So if your family, your parents, your siblings, if they're not participating or doing what do you know? You come up in the same cycle.
Right. You know, I you know, and here's another thing, and then we can discuss this. We really got to move because we're gonna get too deep into this tonight. Just like the chicken pass out during Thanksgiving. Okay, when you go out in your big truck, you pass out chickens during Thanksgiving. All right, I'm being funny about the chickens, but it's supposed to be turkeys, but I'm saying chickens. All right, but you utilize those opportunities to say that you're building a community. Then why aren't you not taking the opportunity then to make sure those people know about voting? Why are you not getting a voting representation out there at that particular point in time when you're giving out chickens?
Because we give chickens to everybody else, giving it to the church, we give it to the nonprofits. You give them all their little juice money, and then they don't worry about the community. You don't have to. Look at Black Lives Matter. Once they get sponsors, they don't give a damn about who gets shot. And it's not structured properly.
Exactly. So, but here's the thing. Last time, you know, you know, maybe we need to get a task force together, okay, and a task force that whenever we see that there's a Beyonce concert or a Janet Jackson concert or somebody's concert that's going on, this task force get in touch with the production and say, we're bringing tables there to vote, get people to start voting. I mean, you know, to sign people up to vote. You know,
Well,
maybe that's a
yeah.
task force. We need to
Yeah.
start doing something like that. I mean, in every city that there is, we start a task force, and as I said, it doesn't have to be all African American, but you know, like Taylor Swift did. You know, Taylor Swift, she had thousands and thousands of people registered to vote. You know, at that point, and really start passing out this type of information to get to the people that need to hear it, because obviously they're not hearing it. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, not. I mean, we could use social media as a platform of that. You could use Instagram, but these people are swipe, and TikTok, swipe. If you get on there 1 second and say vote, they swipe right on by you. You know, so maybe it's something that maybe we can look into, you know, here at True Behind the Truth, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there's something that we can look into and generating some sort of a task force that will use the concert platforms in order to be able to get people to vote.
Probably that would be best suited.
You know, I mean, maybe that's what I divine for. You know, I mean, doing that. I mean, you've got these big, great, you know, our favorite music, house music, you know, concerts though, with these great DJs, and they go out for hours at a time, people dancing and having a great time. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But the saddest thing about the saddest thing, and I'm going to go back to what Charles said too about the fact that, you know, people don't, you know, I can't dibble dabble in politics. You know how many people are being laid off right now?
Yeah, that's sweet.
Marvel is leaving Georgia right now for Germany. Not for the simple fact that they couldn't afford to be in Atlanta. It was the simple fact that they couldn't even afford the health care that's in Atlanta. They found a better situation in Germany. You know how many people are going to be laid off because of that political situation right there? You know how many people are getting laid off at Coca-Cola already? And you know, people on your job say, I don't dibble dabble in politics, and be the first one to say, why they're shortening my time? Why can't I get overtime? Why can't I get some adequate benefits? Why is it that I can't do what needs to be done to get myself up off the, you know, why won't they promote me? Number one. See, that's one thing we talk about all the time about our jobs. Why do they not do in-house promotions? Right. Because they have found a way to not have to deal, but only with those from the outside because of a situation within, you know, these corporations know how to get by through backdoor deals with these politicians. And that is what's happening right now, whether we like it or not. You had dumbass MAGA folks talking about we were going to get a check on August the 1st. Did y'all get a check on August the 1st? From the tariffs, did we get a check? Because I didn't get a check.
That's just a damn
but
joke.
that is the situation that's happening. You got dumb folk who, I'm going to say, are gaslighting people who know better. You got people like Ben Shapiro going on the Breakfast Club, and they're not even up to snuff of debating this type of idiot. He is telling them a bunch of lies through this serious glare, and Charlemagne don't know even how to debate anything of that nature. And I'm saying to myself, why are you, unless you have another intellectual in the room that know how to debate this, you shouldn't have anybody like that of a CIA. I call those CIA operatives because they know how to debate foolishness and they know how to divide and separate through these debates. They know what they're doing.
The sad part is Charlemagne was elected by the white people. They the ones put him in there, made him a leader. And he thought, just like Stephen A. Smith, as long as you say something that agrees with what they're doing and think that there's a possibility of a bright future because of them, they with you. And Stephen Smith is another dumbass.
They know how to use black voices. The Republicans, let me give you their PR strategy is so on point. They have paid black voices to rewrite our history
because we only want to hear we say we're always looking for somebody to lead us. Well, who gonna take us there? Who gonna speak up for us? Who gonna be the representative of what we think?
Well, you know, and I get that from both of you. Well, that's what I'm about to go.
Bishop Wooden.
Well, hold on.
Hey, he's one of them.
But see, you know, the thing about it is that you know the African American. I'm saying the African. You know, we're deviating from calling ourselves African American, but I'm gonna say for this part of the conversation, you know, we've been so programmed in our institutions, and I mean religious institutions, that we have to be led. you don't have the fortitude to be able to be independent of your own thought and your own thinking. So you have to look for somebody to lead you.
That's the American culture. That ain't only us. That's everybody.
True. But you have to only be responsible for you and your own community. So you can't speak for somebody else's community, even though there's a lot of elements.
But that's not only us. That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm speaking to at the point is that, but the drop tier of that is that we cannot think for ourselves, because we always got to run and see what pastor think about it. What is pastor going to preach about it this Sunday? What does pastor feel about it? What does pastor done? What about what you're thinking about it? You are a God-given, created individual on this planet that has a mind, spirit, and a body. Okay, you need to wake up like we started out and use it. Okay, but when you have been programmed and told not to use it, why you live in fear? You think you're going to disappoint God, or guess what? You think you're going to some burning place because you made a decision, and you was a representation of sin because you made a decision. Really? Come on, this has got to stop.
I had a friend tell me,
Charles,
you shouldn't put so much political stuff. Huh?
Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
A friend told me you should stop putting so much political stuff on your personal page and your business page. And I'm like, okay. He goes, because you're trying to get business with everybody. We don't want to discriminate. And I was like, man, I don't give a damn. I still live here. Everything that they do affects me still. Whether I say something or not, it's still going to affect my business or my bottom line. So for you to tell me not to say nothing about Trump lying or the inadequate administration officials like Hedgepeth and the rest of them, I'm supposed to be like, Facebook threatened to take my page down too about talking about Donald Trump. They told me
they just paid probably Donald Trump a settlement, just like YouTube just paid him a settlement.
Yep.
You know where that money?
And they don't even have to pay him. They do it on their own.
They're doing it on their own. They capitulated because of the fact that we talking bad about them just right now. You know what? Going back, and I'm so sorry for changing the subject, but going back to what you said about people needing leaders. Madonna did an exclusive on for Jay Shetty's podcast. You can go and look it up. But I swear to God, y'all go look at the comments. Go look at the comments. And I'm not being random. You say that we as Black folks need leaders. You know how
I'm not saying that.
Hold on. I'm just saying that's general. But do you know that is the American culture? Because you go look at the comments down at this interview that Madonna did with this guy, and she's talking about the fact that she's been a spiritualist. She has studied all of these religions and all of this stuff, and that's what kept her alive, other than her contemporaries, which I find very arrogant. And in the worst way, because I'm not the biggest Madonna fan, but I find that is so arrogant to say, is that I have survived other than my peers because I am spiritual and I have studied these religions, and and they lost their way while I found my way. And that right there, that threw me off. But the fact that in the comment section, you have people, I listened to Madonna all these years, and because of her, I have survived this and I have survived that. I'm saying to myself, really?
Well, but honestly, and I understand your point of coming from leadership about a perspective like that. People find leadership in people that they can relate to. Okay, on forward a minute. Like I said earlier, and I'll go back to our institutions again. People force themselves to find some relatable moments with the let's just say the pastor of their church. So therefore, anything that person says, they're gonna marry it. They're gonna validate. They're gonna confirm it. They're gonna do all those. But it's the same thing.
It's sad.
It's because sad. To broaden what you said earlier, people don't have the capacity, or they do have the capacity, but they don't realize they have the capacity to discern life for themselves. And now that we've been baited into this idea of complete fear. It's getting worse. But let me bring our little friend up here that we don't like to represent too much on all, but he's talking about exactly the same thing we're talking about right now.
See, that's the trick. You're paying yourself, but in a currency that depreciates every hit of stimulation. The brain doesn't separate this is for me from this is what I learned. It simply rewires what's repeated. So even when the intent feels directed, the outcome is still conditioning. And the more the mind consumes, the less it discerns. Think about it. Sexual assault offenders, most of them become offenders because they've rehearsed intimacy with porn in isolation for so long that reality now feels too slow and too unresponsive, so they act. Because when someone repeatedly rehearses closeness without consent or without response, they become addicted to immediacy. They have to act impulsively to install that illusion of control that they built in isolation. But let me give you perspective. What's practiced in secrecy becomes how you perceive openly. The mind carries its training everywhere, so while it might feel like contribution, it's really withdrawal. We can look at it like devotion without discernment, kind of like paying tithes to a church that keeps the offering but never delivers the salvation. Bottom line, you might get a direct hit, but it's gonna create an emptiness you can't name. You get the release, but you lose the reward because the reward isn't physical, it's creative. Most people don't think beyond the act to recognize the intelligence behind the urge, which explains why they have to brand it and advertise under the umbrella of NoFap to convince you to quit what wisdom would have already corrected.
The root of all of that stems from is this. It stems from all of this. Because I remember a time when this didn't even exist.
Right.
When we had only the television. When there was a time
we were smarter when we didn't only had the television.
But you know what? I remember there was a time when on Monday nights when Martin and Living Single, I don't know how long ago it might have been, but I remember we used to sit around as a family and watch television and laugh together. But nowadays you cannot do that because this is always in secrecy. Right. That's the reason why we have what we have in this country right now, which is divided. You have a social media situation right now where algorithms have separated us. I can say that Trump, he couldn't have did this all by himself.
Right.
But this right here has been the situation. It has always been. It has been the situation after 2000 because people don't have time for people anymore.
Right.
We don't, and that's why we have AI that's going to come and destroy. If you think this was going to be bad, AI is going to be worse.
It's already started.
It's starting.
It's already started. We have the AI actor now that's getting recognition. Okay, I mean, I thought that was like wow. We'll get in that a little bit later. That's too much to get into tonight. But this whole, and again, I have to go back to the fact that where can we draw people back in? I don't know.
It might take another COVID.
Oh God!
True. It might take another COVID. It might take us to have to be in. And you know what? The saddest thing about that should have been the reawakening. But then that wasn't the reawakening because it didn't scare us into understanding that we needed each other at the end of the day.
Well, no, but it separated you from that, and then you had to find time to spend with yourself, and you really couldn't do it. At the end of the day.
Well, then we complained that we couldn't spend time with each other. Then all of a sudden, now that we have time to spend time, we don't want to spend time.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Right there. So and I wish we could really answer all of these questions that have come up, in the course of this part of the show, and it is an unfortunate ongoing conversation, till something happens to move people to a better place. And I don't see it happening, at this particular point in time. Right now,
you don't see it happening?
I don't see it happening right away. I will do it. I always say that all of us will be on the other side looking back when the movement starts happening. But right now,
the second coming of Michael Jackson will happen.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're gonna use that in a minute. All right. You mentioned Abby. I'm gonna make a transition to Abby Phillips. There was this conversation that this guy was having with us, a very, very brief moment, and they were kind of trying to. He was having this conversation of his ethnic point of who he is or what is, and so he doesn't like to refer to him as being in the room as being black. So this one particular woman, she went after him about it, and I kind of want to talk about that just for a moment, see what y'all feel about it. Okay.
So you didn't think it was black? I am an individual. I am not a black man. I don't even know what that means. I am an individual. Race is a preposterous social construct.
Do you feel like that when you get pulled over by the police?
I do feel like that when I get pulled over by the police. You know why? Because when they talk to me, they're engaging with this vernacular. They're engaging with me in this particular way, and it's impossible to misconstrue what's going on here.
What is going on there? What is going on there? What is going on there? A different type of blackness than when there's somebody that actually might not have that vernacular?
I'm an individual.
Right, but what is, wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay.
You just said a lot there.
So apparently we do have time.
Okay, so you said when you were pulled over by a police as an individual who happens to have skin that is black, let's say that.
I mean,
or brown, whatever, darker than white, okay?
Yeah.
That when they hear your vernacular, they realize what they're engaging with. And what is that?
A sophisticated individual.
And so when a black person who is pulled over that you might not deem as a sophisticated individual, how will they get engaged
The
with?
issue would not be their race. It would be the degree of sophistication they have or don't have to navigate the situation.
And when a white person is pulled over...
Again, sophistication is still the key issue.
The statistics don't support that.
I just don't...
They don't.
Go ahead, John.
Look,
Pure gaslighting. Go ahead, Charles.
So hold on, let me get my point. You guys gotta go on there. Okay, I understand both sides of the coin. Okay, in that, as a whole, I do. All right, I understand his point because he wants to be recognized of the individual that comes out of him, not but based on what people see. And I fight
the color of my skin, but the content of my character.
Exactly. The content of my character, but it is a concern. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what are you represented? And that is kind of the huge problem that we have in conversation a lot of time, because you are of that color, of that skin, you're expected to respond a certain way. And I think the point that what he was trying to say is that I don't have to respond that way because of what I look like, but the expectation out in the general sense of the community, because I look like this, I have to act this way. So that's my point, real quick. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Charles.
Bullshit. Because I'm gonna say it like this: no matter how you speak, how you carry yourself, that has no indication of your character, your knowledge, your heart. It has no indication. You are who you are by nature. So if I had dreads with a gold tooth, but I knew astrophysics, would you know that? You'd be like, oh, he don't go to college. He did. No, you don't. So we got to stop trying to judge a book by its cover and understand that we all have something to contribute. That's the problem. We're too busy judging.
But isn't that what he was saying in the evidence? And then and what I'm getting from her is that she's trying to say no matter what you sound like, you're gonna be referred to as being black, rather than
true.
True. Yeah, but other than what is coming out of him, and he's trying to drive the point on the fact that what's coming out of me, like you just said, is where the definitive point should be, not based upon what she is saying, because what she's trying to is support a whole black narrative. And I think that it coming from behind her, then that goes into racism, then it goes into this. And
you know what I mean? Lawyers and politicians got pulled over.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they speak with a very click of vernacular, and they can say words like $2 words like extraterrestrial and all whatever the hell. But stop saying that because you can talk a certain way, you fit in. That's that Oreo syndrome. Everybody don't fit in because you talk well. Every room I've ever been in, I've been the only black man.
Okay,
and they all say the same thing. I thought you were white because my last name is McIntosh.
So ain't that a mess? Because you're mad.
It is.
That's only for white folk, but because I didn't not know that would have been your name because you're black. Oh my God! Go ahead, Charles. The ignorance in that really it really goes against the grain of what he's saying. Because y'all remember that movie Get on the Bus? Spike Lee Get on the Bus. Y'all remember the guy, the police officer that was on the bus, the black police officer, the one that was about the law and about the fact that you know, because they were going to the Million Man March.
Right.
Yep.
You know, there was a situation where they were somewhere in the South and they got pulled over by a sheriff, and he got up. Remember now, they got pulled over, the whole entire bus. He stood up. The black police guy stood up and showed his badge and said, "Listen, I'm a fellow police officer." And that man looked at him square dead and just looked at him.
Right.
Like, Negro, if you don't sit your ass down, it don't matter. You still black. Sit your ass down. And they looked at him like, and you thought that badge was going to save you? The saddest thing about Negroes like that, and it frustrates me because some of us know our history enough to know why lynchings existed in the first place. Because black people with sophistication and with wealth were the first ones they went after, other than the ignorant ones. Hold on now. The fact is that you had, I'm just saying, I'm going to say history lesson. After World War I, think about it. You're a military vet. You coming back from Europe after fighting for freedom for this country. Dumb people looked at you and looked at that uniform and thought of you as a threat, because how could a black man come back from Europe in that uniform with a rifle, number one? And number one, they had badges, they had military honors. That was the worst thing that could have
lost a lot of friends.
Right.
Sophistication. I'm talking about people who want to say, you know, and these are capitalistic black people who believe in wealth and investments. That's the reason why Trump is in office right now. And that's the reason why Trump pulls up these pictures of Jesse Jackson and Michael Jackson and all of these Don King, these black capitalists who have given this man all type of prestige and money. And you know what they say? Well, Trump couldn't be racist because look at these black tokens. That is the situation that is going on.
But that's a little different.
That is not different. That is the truth.
Well, no.
Because the truth is that is what black capitalists
But you have to be careful. I understand that, but you have to be careful about that statement. The reason I'm saying that is because it paves the way for people that do not or will not start to get better in their own skin.
That's not what I'm saying.
I know that's not what you're saying.
Stop lying to us.
Well, no, you're not.
Stop gaslighting. What is so freaking obvious? I don't care how much money, how much prestige, how much fame you have. With this skin color, they will pull you over in a Benz. Who was the guy who was the boxer that won against Canelo? What was his name?
Crawford.
You know that he got pulled over by gunpoint.
At gunpoint, yep.
So what was his sophistication?
Well, he's black with dreads.
Right. Understandable. Okay. But again, you know, it's still, you still can't go all the way over into that and then try to find a resolution for one's life. You cannot dive all the way in it because that's not the all to be all. And we have to be careful about how that message comes out.
So that message is going to come out either way, because let me tell you something. This is what, and this is me. You ain't got to take on it or anybody. This is why the Democrats are going to lose. You cannot be so pragmatic with the message, because the message is loud and clear right now. And wait a minute now, and they are not thinking mainstream with their messaging. I'm watching it on Twitter. That's why I still got my X account, because I cannot walk in these United States not knowing how crazy people are right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's wisdom, and that's individual wisdom. And I wish everybody else had that individual wisdom to even do the research that we do on a weekly basis. I mean, it will be helpful enough, you know, to do that. But you got, if what we're saying, and they're not even paying attention to what we're saying. You know what I'm saying? So how on another level will we expect them to be paying attention to what's going on that next level to be aware of it? See what I'm saying? So
we get a nigga wake up moment. When you get a nigga wake up moment, don't come running back to the black people talking about sophistication. Wait, hold on. When they pull you out of your car and beat you like Rodney King and over your sophistication, I'm just saying it happens all the time. I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Right,
go ahead.
You can't generalize it.
Generalize nothing. Okay. They generalize us all the time, don't they, Charles?
Let them be the generalization party of that.
That don't work with me. That don't work with me. I'm like Sister Soldier in this. That don't work. That don't work. I'm sorry. It is what it is. This is the reality. This is the situation right now. When they look at one of us, it's all of us.
But isn't it?
Kamala said on The View the other day, fight fire with fire.
Right. Who said that?
Kamala Harris on the View. She's like, fight fire with fire. We too busy trying to be cordial, not aggressive, not ghetto. We're trying to be within the rules. They don't give a damn about that. They're doing everything they know to go around all that.
Right, but the thing about it is, I think the wisdom would be is that if we see that, then we need to find out from that how that's working and where it's not working on this side. Okay, and you have to find out already.
We finding out already. We're losing, and they take over.
That end of it, but I mean, but all of this just didn't happen overnight. I mean, this has been a planned strategy for a period of time. So what we need to be figuring out are in general people, I won't label it to just us, but the people in general color that are considered the marginalized people, we need to find a different strategy. Okay. And we need to find a strategy that will work because what we're doing ain't working.
Well, the beer summit that Obama had was supposed to work. But you know what Megyn Kelly say all the time? Well, this racist stuff wouldn't have happened if Obama would have been our president.
But again,
but
then when
she's
there was dropping in a narrative in that, and that's nobody came behind that and corrected that. We accepted that. And the problem is that, as you said, Charles, as you just said, we accept everything that's being thrown at us, okay, rather than learning from what's being thrown at us and coming out with a different strategy to deal with it. We accept it all. Okay, well, this is what you are. This is what you are. We accept that. You know, and when are we going to stop it? And to this guy's point again, he's not accepting that walking through. Now we debated that, yes, okay, but he's not accepting that narrative for himself, and he should not be. That's right, fine. And he should not be cut down for not accepting that narrative for himself. That's fine. Okay, so maybe he has a different strategy of going and find out more information than somebody else does. But from her, well, stop. But you know, but
listen, no, listen, we've all been pulled over by the police, right? Wait a minute,
no. Because the thing about it is that's the same message that she was sitting there saying the same thing. So what if he came back and said it? All black women act like you act. What would be the difference?
Well, hey. That would be his opinion and his freedom of speech, right?
Exactly. So at that particular point, why was she engaging that particular opinion on what his narrative of what he saw himself?
All right, then, Jay.
You know what I'm saying?
And a perfect utopia that would I wish they would see the sophistication in what I am and not beat me over the head because of the fact that I might look like a criminal.
But she used the example of that. But that same example happens in relationships. You and I had that discussion yesterday.
Well,
you know, about where relationships are reviewed in certain levels of within the ranks of the community, things that shouldn't be saying because of this, that, and the third. You know, so we got to be careful how we frame stuff. You know, even within the same camp, you can't say the things the same that you want to say. You can't. You know, I started out, and y'all shot me down again, but talking about the twerking over, Cardi B bending over in front of the camera. But that's a certain sector of a community that none of us inspired to be a part of, but it has a dominancy out there.
Because that's the reality of the world.
And you know what's so crazy about what you just said?
Yeah.
You're talking about Cardi B, but yet the rednecks, the racists, the nationalists, they're out there saying these same things on a higher level about us, everybody else, and we're going, but we need to be better. We need to we should show our booty. We should shake. We should be like them.
No, but see, there's a motive behind everything. And then at the end of the day, you know, people that like that are going to like that. At the end of the day, people that are not going to like that, not going to like it, you know. And that's where I think these conversations have to have some sort of agreeable disagree about them, you know, at the end of the day. Now, me personally, I think it's disrespectful for a woman to do that. She should be doing that in the comforts of her own home. And I don't want to know that what she wants to do, how she wants to ride it. That's not everybody's information. And you know,
excuse me, brother.
Yeah.
But the way you look at this is so abstract. You're punishing people for things you don't like, but there are people who punish you for the things you like. So you have to remember, when you pick that fine line, just because she shake her ass, she shake because she want to. It offends you, but there are things you do to offend other people. So you got to remember, that's what we talk about, the freedom of speech and the right to express yourself.
And I understand that point, but see, then there comes discretion.
Consumerism too.
You're right.
The consumer, that's the thing that I'm like this. What I don't like, I don't watch.
Right.
I don't
there you go.
I turn the channel.
Turn the channel. Turn your head.
Right. My problem with that whole entire thing of entertainment is the fact that the bigger scheme of it is, if you don't see it for what it is, I don't know what to tell you, because I can recall growing up in the 90s, that was still there, but there was a balance that just wasn't so in your face.
That's what I'm talking about.
But my thing is this, as a community, is that what you subscribe to? Fine.
That's my whole thing.
That's what you subscribe to. But do not force that down my throat, just the way that you don't want me to force my lifestyle down your throat. That's my situation. Because there are times where you might have to hang out with people, and you have to tell them this is not my thing. Well, why not? It's not your thing, because I don't agree to this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this. This doesn't represent me. Well, it should represent that. No, it should not.
Mm-hmm.
But that is my grief with the whole scheme of it, is that we have allowed ourselves to be so, we have capitulated to the idea that that's who we are. And that's not
that's
who
my
we
problem.
are.
That's my
we
problem.
We are more than just that. But that is what, and I hate to say this, and this is where it goes back to the fact that there is investment in that. There is people getting money to subscribe to that, to show you that. Mm-hmm. And that we as a community, we have not fought hard against that.
No.
And that is my problem with the NAACP and the Urban League and all of these people, that all of these organizations that should say, you know what? Okay, then fine. If you want to call it entertainment, that's fine, but there's got to be some form of balance in this situation, because I'm seeing too much of this instead of this.
Right.
And they need to stick it to some of these entertainers too, like they did back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot represent us as a whole doing this. If you want to represent you need to, go over there.
Mm-hmm.
But do not say that you are black and proud and you doing all of this shit.
Right.
That's not that. We cannot unite under all of this.
No.
That's my thing with the whole entire thing.
No,
But if you want to watch it, that's fine with me.
Right.
I just don't subscribe to it. But that's my truth behind the truth, because at the end of the day, Cardi and Nicki will be here to stay until somebody said I cannot put money behind it. But until, if people still put money behind it, they will stay here.
Right.
And I cannot fight the consumerism of it all, because at the end of the day, that's capitalism.
Right.
That is the life that we have to deal with and live with, because it's so competitive to the point that, hey, it's going to be a time you're going to see these rappers naked. They already have naked, but you're going to see areolas and all types of stuff on screen.
Yeah.
And what are we going to say then?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's going to happen.
Right. It's out there.
It's just out there now, but we're going to see all types of stuff, because it's going to get to a point that people they don't put a boundary on it.
Right. And that's all I'm saying. It should be a boundary on what it is. And I know that some people feel
I know
that's
nobody wants to see us naked.
Right, well.
Who wants to see us naked? Put it in the comments. Who wants to see us naked?
You
have money to watch.
Right. And honestly, that's a good point. There's a place that you can pay to see that. At the end of the day, if you want to, I'm just using her example again. You want to see her bending over twerking, then go follow her OnlyFans page and get the money that way. You can see it all you want to. That's in the private your place, But when it comes, and then here's the thing where it came to my psyche again. I was watching Sherri Shepherd the other day, and I got angry with Sherri Shepherd was showing it.
That's Sherri Shepherd for you.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I don't, and honestly, and Sherri, if you ever hear this show, you can call me and we can talk about it. I don't understand the balance of where you going with your show.
Sherri Shepherd had that on it, but she didn't have Nasty Red on her show. Now, this is
Sherri Shepherd she showed a video of Cardi bending over at her debut concert of this new album that she got, and I was like, I cannot believe it.
Send me the link. Send me the link so I can see it.
Yeah, send the link. But
you can pull up on YouTube.
The integrity with Sherri Shepherd, because I remember her making this remark: "I won't have no Sexy Red on my show because that's not what I represent." But you have Cardi on your show doing all that, and I can't. I'm looking at Sherri like, Sherri, you are such a hypocrite. Put Sexy Red on your show now. Because if you can have Cardi on your show, you might
not
well
on the show, but she told a clip of Cardi's.
What?
You know,
there you go.
But then she was promoting Cardi at the same point because it's like she's promoting her to you know, bait her to come to the show at the same time.
There you go.
You know,
now put Sexy Red on your show because there's no integrity. If there's no integrity right there, if that's what you like, then you might as well put both on your show, and you should be proud of it. Instead of trying to be all high-minded and say, "Well, I don't, that don't represent me." Yes, it does. You just need to come out of the closet and say it does. My thing, and I have no problems with these entertainers. But I just, there are people who do take it too far. But hey, for those, that's entertainment. I can't take that away. I like boring music. I like music that nobody cares to want to listen to. I like my jazz and my watercolors, my neo soul, my R&B. I like a little bit of spoken word. I like a little bit of pop and a little bit of country. But that's how eclectic I am. But I like positive messaging, right. Because you know what, I go to work every day and I feel some type of way about having to deal with people, and I can't be listening to all types of craziness that's coming from these new artists because they will piss me the F off. I'd be going to jail. You'll have to come and bail me out.
I just
went to 7-Eleven. I heard all that crap,
and I just try to to get wave as to what is it pulling them to the. Well, I know
pulling out the boat.
No, yeah, that too. Pulling them in, in this direction, and I'm not letting them just get off of these female rap artists or whatever. Yeah, let's just go back to the males. They're worse.
But they becoming more bisexual as the years.
They're worse. But anyway, we ain't going there. All right,
these rappers are coming.
We ain't going there. All right. So topic one does. So we need to bring it in. So we're gonna bring it in a little bit more wholesomely at this point in time. So we'll wrap it up. I was gonna do a little tribute to Michael tonight, but we got time, to be able to do it in the upcoming show. Just how everybody's Candace Owens, she kind of reconciled her differences about what she felt about Michael Jackson some time ago, her and whatever that other guy that used to be on on Fox. But I do want to go past them and really kind of get to this moment on the Jennifer Hudson show where the two Jennifers came together, which was a very iconic moment, in a very on a very positive note, which was Jennifer Holliday and Jennifer Hudson, and of course, both of them are iconic for Dreamgirls. Jennifer Holliday, of course, the one and only for Effie, and will probably always be going down in history as the one and only Effie. And they sung together, and Jennifer Holliday, after what was it? It came out 40 years. 40 years ago, 1981, when Dreamgirls hit Broadway.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Thriller.
No. No, I'm jumping past Thriller tonight. And she has not missed a beat of that particular character of being able to sing that song. And it was just a beautiful moment for the two of them. And just a big note that Dreamgirls is going back to Broadway next September 26th.
It's going to be the white version.
Oh, yeah, right. So enjoy this moment, and we will wrap it up after this quick moment.
And I am telling you, I'm not going. You're the best man I'll ever know. There's no way I could ever go. No way I'm living without you. Not living.
Well, all
They
right.
were loud. They were screaming. You know how these folks be. They were screaming.
Hey, you know.
All right, now they were singing in there.
Yes.
They were singing.
But it was nice to see the two of them together. You know, I mean, that's just kind of like history meets history.
Oh,
you know, I mean, at the end of the day,
yes.
and that's a really, really great moment.
That's
You know, to do that. The originator, then the duplicator.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the originator and the duplicator. But anyway, we're hopeful that it hopefully inspired you guys tonight. You know, to you know, think about it. I'm gonna watch the movie Dreamgirls. You know, at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of light, there's a lot of inspiration. You know, there's a lot of deceit. Okay, there's a lot of envy and there's a lot of strife.
It's still, the story still holds up because it's still true in nature. Whatever industry that you in, you have a dream, but sometimes, you know, people, they come into this world with different, you know, perspectives of the dream.
Absolutely.
And it's so, you know, you have to understand it's based on the Supremes. I don't care what people say. It was based on the Supremes, but you know, it's just the fact that story, regardless of them being in music, that story could have been anywhere.
Right.
And it's, you know, but it does. But the lesson was they came back together.
Right,
that was
exactly.
the
At the
lesson.
end of the
They
day.
came back in forgiveness.
And that's a good way to end tonight's
That's
show.
right.
You know, after all that's said and done, you
That's
know, we
right.
talked about tonight. I think as humanity, we have got to find a way to be somebody's dream and come back together, you know, at the end and recognize all of our strengths, you know, from that point.
Right.
And at some point down the road, we will do that. But like I always
They
say,
got to change first. They got to come out. They got to come out singing, "I am changing." Number
Right,
one,
that's true.
They got to come out and say, "I
Right.
am changing,"
Right.
because that song in itself is true to life.
Right.
You have to change the way you think and the path that you walk in order for things to be better.
Right.
And it won't get better until people change their mindset.
Absolutely.
And the country has to change its mindset.
Yep.
But until then, nothing will get better because, hey, even in the Bible, Pharaoh had pride.
Right.
Too much pride in this country. And
Yes,
it won't. It's just going to be the way it is until
until it changes.
That's right.
Charles, you got a quick point? Well,
joy and pain, like sunshine and rain.
Okay.
That's right.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. We'll see you back here again next Tuesday night. All right. And like Donald said, be the change. So change can happen. All right. Y'all be safe. Love you now. Bye.